Have you ever experienced certain moments that seem charged, almost heightened in a way you can't quite explain? Not because of what's visible on the surface, but because of what's quietly unfolding beneath it. Real intimacy is never just physical, it's a nuanced psychological interplay, often masked as softness and affection. Intrigued, many men misunderstand this entirely, assuming it revolves around the physical. For a woman, it runs much deeper, rooted in trust, surrender, the exchange of energy, and the fine balance between control and release. It's the point where vulnerability intersects with strength, and the tension between the two becomes undeniable. Today, we're exploring 5 fundamental psychological truths about what deep intimacy truly represents to a woman. Not the polished, idealized version, but the raw, often unspoken reality beneath it. If you're returning, your continued support helps this space evolve. May you and those around you remain resilient and grounded. If you're new, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. This is a space where we don't chase approval, we analyze behavior, explore psychology and philosophy, and uncover insights rarely taught elsewhere. Let's begin. Truth number 1. Intimacy is her ultimate measure of emotional safety. When she allows herself to be vulnerable, it's never just about physical closeness, it's an expression of trust. Beneath it all, she's asking, can I truly feel secure with him? What may seem casual to you carries far more weight for her. Without emotional stability, intimacy can feel like a violation of her inner world. If she senses unpredictability, unchecked ego, or emotional volatility, she won't fully open up. A woman's instinct is rooted in self-protection, guarding herself against the instability of someone who hasn't mastered his own emotions. When she does let go, it isn't driven by impulse, it's a response to something deeper. She's acknowledging your steadiness, your discipline, your ability to remain composed under pressure. She isn't yielding to you. She's responding to the control you have over yourself. This distinction is often overlooked. Genuine power in intimacy isn't taken. It's built through a foundation of safety. But safety alone doesn't create desire. Once trust is established, something else fuels the intensity. That leads us to the next truth, the instinctive core of attraction. Truth number 2. Intimacy becomes her way of evaluating your inner strength. Attraction isn't logical or evenly distributed, it's instinctual. Women don't just experience attraction, they interpret it on a subconscious level. Every intimate interaction becomes a reflection of your composure, your grounded nature, and how you handle emotional intensity. It's not about controlling her, it's about maintaining control over yourself. A man who remains calm, centered, and confident during emotionally charged moments projects certainty. The feminine is drawn to both stability and intensity, to protection within chaos, but also the experience of that intensity itself. When strength is paired with calm presence, surrender happens naturally. She's not reacting to your physical presence alone, she's responding to the quiet authority of your self-mastery. Your steadiness has the ability to transform her internal unrest into calm. This is why emotional discipline creates deeper attraction than surface-level charm. She isn't looking for attention, she's drawn to gravity, to a presence that grounds her. There's a power in stillness. Often it's not what you say, but the composed energy you carry that creates the strongest pull. Yet, this dynamic goes beyond dominance. True intimacy also involves understanding that connection sometimes requires mutual openness. In these moments, she becomes highly perceptive, whether consciously or not. She notices your tone, your timing, your breathing, even your hesitation. She's not just observing your actions, she's reading your energy. What you offer isn't just touch, it's honesty. Your authenticity, your restraint, your intention. Women are especially sensitive to emotional inconsistency. If your words express care, but your energy feels performative, she will sense the disconnect instantly. This is where genuine presence outshines surface confidence. When you are fully grounded and emotionally aligned, she feels safe enough to open up naturally. Not because she lacks strength, but because your stability creates space for her to do so. In these moments, intimacy takes on a deeper dimension, almost a form of emotional clarity. She's quietly evaluating who is this man really? When she perceives consistency and calmness, respect evolves into genuine connection. Your presence becomes an unspoken invitation for trust, openness, and authenticity, creating a depth that words alone can't replicate. At its deepest level, intimacy is rarely about physical closeness. For a woman, it reflects trust, emotional safety, and the energy you bring into the interaction. Every gesture, pause, and expression communicates more than language ever could. When a man demonstrates emotional control and self-awareness, he creates an environment where vulnerability feels safe. This doesn't imply passivity, it reflects her sensitivity to the quality of your presence. She's assessing your consistency, your stability, and your ability to stay grounded when emotions intensify. This is why superficial traits like charm or appearance often fall short. They cannot replace the pull of someone who is emotionally reliable and internally steady. True intimacy exists in balance, where vulnerability meets control and energy meets stillness. Desire isn't forced. It emerges through trust and respect. This dynamic is not one-sided. As she responds to your composure, your awareness of her emotional cues strengthens the connection. You begin to notice the unspoken, subtle tension, hesitation, or desire. Every small detail, her breathing, posture, and micro-expressions communicates meaning. Intimacy becomes its own language, spoken through presence rather than words. A man who understands this doesn't simply react. He leads with awareness and calm confidence. In this space, attraction deepens because it's rooted in recognition of authenticity, safety, and emotional alignment. What she experiences goes beyond attraction. It becomes resonance with someone who embodies stability, discipline, and the rare ability to make her feel both seen and secure. The balance between strength and surrender is where connection thrives. She's drawn to a man who is confident without being overpowering, assertive without being controlling, intense without being unstable. This balance creates a natural tension, one that isn't forced but felt. Trust forms the foundation, but it's your composed energy and controlled intensity that ignite desire. Ultimately, intimacy becomes an expression of truth rather than performance. Each interaction reflects your character, your composure, and your authenticity. Men who understand this recognize that what draws a woman in isn't the physical act, it's the emotional and psychological environment they create. Within that space, desire, trust, and vulnerability intersect, forming a connection that goes far beyond the surface. At its core, this level of intimacy is about presence. Every shared moment becomes an exchange of energy rather than words. A woman instinctively senses whether your actions align with your intentions, whether your calmness is genuine or rehearsed. She isn't consciously analyzing, it's intuitive. She feels the subtle signals of confidence, restraint, and clarity. This is where many misunderstand intimacy. They focus on actions and words, overlooking the invisible exchange that defines true connection. The silence between words, the rhythm of your breath, the consistency of your attention, these communicate more than any spoken reassurance. When your energy feels grounded and authentic, she feels safe, revealing parts of herself that are usually hidden. That's the essence of meaningful, transformative intimacy. This dynamic also creates polarity, the magnetic tension that fuels attraction. She isn't drawn only to what she sees, but to what she feels. The certainty in your presence, the restraint in your energy, the confidence in your stillness. When vulnerability meets composure and surrender meets control, the connection becomes compelling. She doesn't open up out of obligation. She does so because your presence signals safety, authenticity, and quiet authority. Every interaction, every glance, touch, and pause becomes a silent exchange of understanding. Real intimacy isn't rushed or manufactured. It develops through subtlety, through the quiet signals that build trust and alignment. What makes this connection powerful is its reciprocity. As she opens up, your awareness sharpens. You feel the significance of her trust, which deepens your focus and emotional discipline. The experience becomes mutual, an ongoing exchange of energy and understanding. There's no performance, no hidden test, just a natural rhythm that unfolds when both individuals are aligned. The deeper the connection, the stronger the attraction, because it's no longer surface level. It's rooted in recognition of authenticity, control, and emotional depth. This is what separates ordinary interactions from truly memorable intimacy. Men who understand this know that attraction isn't about force or manipulation. It's about self-mastery and creating an environment where a woman feels both secure and fully alive. It's about presence, authenticity, and energy, not just words or actions. Intimacy becomes a reflection of character, a demonstration of stability, and a pathway to deep psychological connection. When a man embodies these qualities, he doesn't just gain attention, he builds trust, connection, and desire in a way that is rare, meaningful, and lasting.